All right, let me get this going. I just have to cut all this front part. Let it get done doing its talking.
At the stop sign, turn right onto State Road 392. Then take the first right for I-40 West.
Actually, we'll use this for the intro.
Use what?
Where GPS is telling us where to go.
Oh.
All right, guys, we're back with another Modified Rides podcast. Doing things different again this time. You seem to have liked the one we did with me and the wife driving. Today, I'm actually on my way to SEMA 2024. Hold on, let me get my cruise control set so we know where we're at. So today, I got Vince Robinson with me from Awesome Auto Glass. We're on our way to, like I said, SEMA. We just stopped to get a little fuel in New Mexico. As you can see, y'all there on YouTube, we got all this stuff in the back, mostly Vince's. I think he thought he was going to be the one gone for a month, not me. So I
wasn't sure.
I have a bag, and he has 3 and a bunch of extra clothes. So Chris Tryon Jr.
Yeah.
So I've made this trip multiple times. Drove out here in 14. Me and Chris Tryon come out in 17 with a truck and trailer. Me and Mitchell drove out in 23 last year. All the other years I shipped stuff. So this year I'm bringing Basic Betty, the Tahoe out. Vince was able to get off work. So how were you able to get off work?
I kind of make the schedule.
Okay. So who are you? What do you own?
I'm Vince Robinson, and I own Awesome Awesome.
Hold on, you own a body shop now?
No. Okay. I own Awesome Auto Glass replacement company. So my guys are at home taking care of business while I'm gone.
But yet they're calling you every 12 minutes.
Yes, the office was calling me a lot today, but Haley's got it knocked out, and my son-in-law Gabe and my son Alex are taking care of the routes, taking care of our customers this week.
Whoa.
While I'm in Vegas at a trade show.
Yeah. Well, he was able to get off work, with being his own boss, was able to get off work just like I was. Of course, my wife couldn't get off the whole time to make the trip, so she's actually flying out. So I'll release this. This will be Tuesday, November 5th. It'll be the first day of SEMA, Election Day. We may have End of the World Tuesday night. We may not. World War III, we don't know what we're doing yet. But
we may be staying in Vegas.
Well, like I said, this will release day 1 of Vegas, or of SEMA. Like I said, we're on our way there now. It's, what day is it? Thursday?
Yeah, Halloween.
Oh, yeah. So we're recording this on Halloween. Like I said, we're on our way in New Mexico now. We still have, a couple more states to go through. Been doing some Route 66 sightseeing. I've made the trip, but usually someone rides out with me that's never been. We always stop and check a few things out. So this is your first time driving west of Memphis. So what's your thoughts on it?
It's great. I like it. It's very different than being at home. It's like there's no mountains, there's no trees. So this is a very good experience.
Yes, and that was GPS telling me there's a speed notification ahead. So I set my cruise. I don't do this. I'm going to do 30 miles an hour over. No, I'm grandpa. Speed limit 75. Cruise set at 84. So cruising. Well, we should be in Vegas Friday. Tomorrow we'll be in town. Like, so still got some more sightseeing to do. This is his first time coming out to SEMA. Wes is flying out. Wes Frisbee's flying out. Seems to be the podcast thing. If Wes has been on, now Vince is on. The wife is on. She's flying out tomorrow night. Wes is out Saturday. But with you always seeing SEMA online, Facebook, Instagram, and stuff, what are you most looking forward most to seeing?
The whole thing, really. Obviously, I want to see some auto glass manufacturers, representatives, stuff like that. Get some good ideas for my office, for my shop, see if we can grow. Also, I want to see the trucks. I want to see what they got out here. I want to see the new stuff.
They have cars too.
Okay.
And side-by-sides and...
Right. I want to see all of it, honestly. I've never seen something like this, and you always, over the years, I've had mini trucking, sport trucking, street trucks, all these, SEMA, and I've never got to experience it like this. So finally, I'm gonna try to take all of it in. I got 2 pairs of brand new shoes, whole bottle of Aleve.
I thought you were gonna say lotion.
No lotion.
You'll need that in Vegas. It's so dry. You're gonna be a little ashy.
Well, and I'm sure I'll be able to find me some Jaeger.
He's been Googling stuff on the trip. I don't know what he's doing. Something about some kind of Thunder from Down Under. I don't know if it's like a light and sound show, but he keeps wanting to go see Thunder from Down Under.
No.
Wasn't that where you said you wanted to go?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, we'll see if that happens. If not, I'm sure it'll be on his story and stuff.
I said a cigar bar, not the Thunder bar.
You guys that's been to Vegas understand what Thunder from Down Under is. It's not something that we would typically go to or ever. Well,
ever? I would
just
hope
on Tuesdays.
You know how it is.
So making this trip out here, it's one of those ones that I enjoy every year. I love the aspect of being able to fly and ship a vehicle, but shipping costs are gone crazy. I was able to take time off work. I'm actually staying out with Adam Madrigal after SEMA for a few days, and then we're doing Dino's, and then me and Adam's riding back. So it was cool that Vince could get off and ride out, and see the country, see some of the sights we've seen. The windmills. We've passed several of the blades running down the road that are massive.
Unbelievable sizes compared to, a man versus these machines out here. It's crazy.
Tons of windmills. I always say that's why it's so windy out here in the flatlands, because they got all these damn windmills off. They turned the fans off, it wouldn't be so windy.
Right, and we can see them in the distance now, and they're everywhere.
So, me and Vince have been friends for 30 years-ish.
Yeah, at least early 90s.
Yeah, so it's been been a while. We've cruise patting our local cruise trip quite a bit as we were younger. Playing with vehicles. We had some laughs of some old stories on the way here. Some we can't. I don't want to get banned by YouTube or any of the.
I wasn't skinny dipping. We're just gonna leave it at that.
So moving forward, that has nothing to do with the thunder down from down under either. So it was cold, so I don't know if there was really much thunder from down under.
No.
So Vince has had several vehicles over the years. So I always ask people, what got you started in custom vehicles? Of course, modified rides.
Right.
What got you started?
Well, a buddy of mine in high school had a 89 Chevy Blazer, four-wheel drive. He put a Testarossa body kit on it. His name was Richard Bergen.
Oh, I remember that.
He was in the original Slammed Impressions back in the day. So he was a buddy of mine and good friend in what he was doing. And then I had a buddy of mine that did body work. And I was amazed. I mean, he dented up his fender one night. Next weekend, we're out there, he's out there fixing it. And I was just hooked. His name was Earl.
And he was what, in high school?
Yeah, definitely in high school. And I was just hooked. I wanted to get in that scene and do some things. And I've had stuff over the years, I've never had anything super over the top. Back in the day, of course, growing up, we had, I had a 92 Chevy S10.
I was going to say, I thought you had an S10.
I had several S10s. My first one was a black one. I bought my high school graduation kind of present. My dad helped me with my down payment. And that was it. It was a blue one with Viper Elite wheels, the black and the polished 6-spoke.
15s probably?
15s.
Or were they 14s?
No, I think they were 15s. And
you kids don't understand how cool a 15-inch wheel was back in the 90s. It was equivalent to a 28 now.
And when I bought it, it was just tinted windows and the wheels. So we lowered it by cutting the springs.
Did you take the springs out or just cut them in it?
I don't know. My brother got a hold of it.
Because when I'd lower my CRX, we literally took a cutoff wheel, jacked it up, took the wheel off, cut the spring with it in it, and then beat the pieces out.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. He jacked it up, cut the springs out, we put blocks in it, and then we went through 3 sets of front tires in 6 months. So yeah, that didn't last very long.
They had alignment shops back in the 90s, right?
Yeah, the spring cutting was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gave us really bad negative camber. So, over the years, that truck got Totaled on the cruising strip, as a matter of fact.
Was you in the, I guess, the suicide lane, as we called it?
Yes, I was. Everybody stopped, 4 cars up. Dude pulls out, jumps in front of me. Bam! I hit him. He hits 3 cars.
We called it the suicide lane because it was the left lane.
Yeah.
Well, in the left lane, that means you were sitting in traffic beside the left lane that was turning a U-turn, and that's usually where all the girls were. You would stop and like talk trash to the girl while you're sitting in traffic, but the normal people that wasn't there to cruise, the teenagers or the non-teenagers,
Right.
didn't know you were stopped in the middle of the road,
And yeah, it caused problems.
a lot.
So then my next one was a 92 C10. Bought it. It was hammered, static drop.
I don't remember you having a C10.
Black, not C10, I'm sorry, S10.
Okay,
The black one.
that's what I remember.
And I bought my first set of wheels I bought were the bullet hole cracker with the chrome face on them.
Is that the Convo Pros or whatever it was?
Yeah, possibly. It's been so long, but I bought that truck. Totaled that one too.
Seems
Not
to be
my
a
fault.
theme.
Not my fault. And then over the years, of course, I had kids, relationship issues, so stuff like that coming up. So I ended up just getting a truck, lower truck, maybe here and there, a couple Mazdas. Bought a Suburban.
So tell us about the Suburban. where did this is where it'll get fun. Where did the Suburban start?
Suburban.
It's OBS Suburban, right?
It's an OBS 92 Chevy Suburban. Wasn't looking for a Suburban, but there it was on near my house. So I went in, bought it. It's bone stock, pretty much gutted, very little. It had seats in it. You could tell.
When it wasn't that old of a vehicle, though.
No.
Because you said a 92, so this was probably what, early 2000s?
Yeah, easy. So I got some wheels, 18 and 20s, from a buddy of mine, traded, wheel and deal. Got a flame steering wheel with a billet flame steering wheel.
Yeah.
Traded, wheel and deal.
Trend steering wheel.
Yep. Had a bunch of good plans for it, stuff like that. Slammed it static. Drove it around a little bit. And then got the bright idea to bag it. So, so we tried. You know, me and my brother helped me out a lot on some stuff like that. He was more of the welder, getting stuff going.
Well, he had a
welder.
tracker on juice.
Yeah, he had a tracker on juice, 89 C10 Blazer on juice, which later he cut completely out.
Oh, what was the name of that?
It was, I don't think he had a name for it.
Because it was like waist high or
It was
something.
almost waist high.
It was always
A blue Blazer.
Was it blue then?
It was blue. And then
Was it not primer?
The front clip was primer because of the modifications for the wheel tubs and the hood.
It showed up. This was pre-internet, Facebook, all that stuff. Well, I guess the internet was there, but pre-Facebook and all that.
This was probably street scene time.
Yeah, so it was showed up everywhere, magazines, everything online. I remember him standing beside it, and like the roof was like waist high.
Waist
he cut
high.
like half the doors out of it or something.
And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a big guy, and I fit in that thing comfortably.
The YouTube people would know, but not the audio people.
That's true.
For the audio people, you may be able to just hear the bass in his voice.
Yeah, I'm big bone. So anyway, so he'd help me on a few things, and then life takes over and things happen, and then it gets put off the back burner. But that truck was that's Molly Brown.
It was like that pewter color.
It was that pewter brown, but that's not where her name came from.
Where did the name come from?
Name came from a place in Daytona, Florida, called Molly Brown's, and it was of the adult environment.
So that goes back to your whole Thunder from Down Under?
Negative. This was this was titties. This was some titties. Okay, so my truck got named Molly Brown. So
after the strip club.
After the strip club in Daytona, which I don't think is there anymore, which is unfortunate. But Molly's got some. I've bought some parts for her from Stone Fab for some suspension stuff. She got kind of put back on the back burner, especially when I started my own glass shop.
Well, you had already cut it up some at that point.
Yeah, it laid out.
But didn't you cut the doors and stuff off of it already?
No, none of that. I took everything apart. It's a shell.
So what was so explain your plans. I remember you were trying to make it different.
Well, yeah, I wanted to go different because there's only so much you can do with Suburban. Everybody lowers one, slams it, something with the headlights, taillights. But I wanted to make mine a little different, and I want to cut the roof to where it looks like an avalanche.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of them out there, you know, everybody's like, I don't know.
And no one ever sends you pictures of the ones we see at shows.
And every time somebody sees something similar,
Vince, is this yours?
Is this you? Where are you at? You know, and it's cool because people do think of me about it, and I haven't even done it. But I've got notebooks of drawings. I've got different ideas. I've got different pictures. I've got homemade renderings, something to see if it would look right and whatnot. And then lo and behold, there's a guy.
That's not anybody with gas, y'all. That's these ridges in the roads where they're doing construction here. I promise you.
So lo and behold, I'm in mini trucking in Maggie Valley a couple years back, and there sits an OBS Suburban with the back roof cut off like an avalanche. So basically the back glass area is gone and cut off, which leaves you an exposed cab and exposed cargo area, which could be a bed. And you know, the truck wasn't finished, but it was in a good spot, a starting point. Guy had 24s on it. He's actually lives near us in Cherokee somewhere. But he had juice on it. The execution wasn't, you know, 100%, but the idea was there. And it looked great. There were some things I want to do to it and possibly chop the top a couple inches. I talked to a buddy about that, Jeff Giles, out of Relaxed. He did his OBS square by standard cab, that red one.
That one you just saw and gave you ideas?
Well, I seen it and it proved my point to myself.
That it could be done.
That I could see it in my head and it's done.
Yeah.
You know, because you get a little puckered up when you go to cut a roof off a truck. I don't care what it is.
I got friends that Adam would cut one off and wouldn't think twice about it.
You're not wrong. So I got that sitting there, and you know, in the meantime, I've been buying parts, buying bags here and there, getting my ducks together. Of course, my kids are grown now, not married, and you got the glass shop, so that's my baby. That's my.
Well, you buying parts like that. That's something a lot of people think. I got to have everything now, and I'll put it together. But if I don't have everything, I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to do it. So I'm just going to do it all now. Well, I mean, stacking up parts over time in the long run makes it better, because then you can dive into it one time and not.
Right. Absolutely.
Build it, tear it apart. Build it, tear apart.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, I got stone fab front suspension, his control arms, all that stuff, and another guy has them locally and they work great. So I got that, and I got some other things for it. Bought some bags, bought an air ride system for it, and then I found a C10.
What year?
83 C10. So I had stacked up some wheels that I had gotten off of a friend of mine in Negative, James Smith. Bought his 2224s, intro wheels.
Off
his white OBS.
Yeah.
And
ooh, that guardrail don't look safe.
That's wood. Is that wood?
It's just low. We're on a sketchy road for y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the best of roads in New Mexico. Anyway, go ahead.
So I've been stacking parts, you know, for the Suburban to get something, you know, get her going. OBS. I really fell in love with that truck, you know, that body style and stuff. And my friends have it, like James, and of course, like Bobby's got his, and it's just Bobby Long and his Glass Money. So I mean, I love the OBS.
Does he have Glass Money right now?
Glass Money is in the.
We need to have him get that back. It needs to come back home.
Well, Glass Money is in a paint shop.
It's in paint jail.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother podcast. But
we're hoping he gets it back, because that was such a badass truck.
It was a very badass truck, and it was very, in some ways subtle, but in some ways just, I mean, over the top. Bam.
Yeah.
You know, but so these trucks, I mean, I love the OBS. But then I found this C10 that I've been looking at, and you know, you always think, oh, I'm just going to lower it, some $1,500 wheels. I'm gonna tinker on this truck as I build the other one.
Should they still make $1,500 wheels?
Yeah. They're basic bitch wheels, but yeah, they do.
The wheels have gotten stupid. Yeah. When I had a friend just order a set of wheels at $22,000, like I can't do it.
No, me neither. I can't justify it.
No,
not yet. So anyway, I'm sitting there. I get this C10 in my driveway. Got a really good deal on it. And of course, it needs everything. way more.
Running, driving, anything?
It was running a little bit, but I had to put a carburetor on it, and that wasn't enough. So we kept looking at it, messing with it. Well, you know, the bags and the rims and the tires and the air ride will pretty much fit the same vehicle. So I kind of borrowed some stuff off of Molly, the Suburban, and started the idea of getting the C10 rolling. Because
it was probably easier to get the C10 going to have a fun little driver.
For the way I want to do it, absolutely. Because the C10's patinaed. It's originally a red and white cream across the bottom truck, but somebody before me spray bombed it or something, and it's faded. So it's got a really nice patina to it. So the Suburban is a little bit more in depth. That one I want to spend as much time on it as I can, details, making a frame, and doing other things to it. So I thought, well, maybe the C10 will be quick.
Yeah.
Well, by stacking up the parts in Amazon, it was pretty quick, because then I took it to a buddy of mine out in Brevard, Automotive Shenanigans,
North Carolina,
Billy Murdoch, and he did all the heavy lifting for me and pretty much helped me with the C10, and he loves C10s, and he is just a book of information. I mean, just killed it. So about 4 months, we pulled it in, and by the time I pulled it out, I had my C10 stock floor body dropped on 22 24s, airlift performance, air management.
You got the 3P on it, right?
I got the 3P on it. Works flawlessly.
And that's the thing with these C10s. It's like, you don't have to be into them stupid money to have something fun to drive. Like, he may not have a $30,000 paint job on it, but he'll hop in that bitch and roll and not worry about it and have fun with it.
I drive it.
Yeah. With the Bluetooth speaker on the dash.
With a Bluetooth JBL speaker on the dash. The only interior piece I have is seats and seat belts, which is just what it is, honestly.
Will it pass inspection?
Doesn't need an inspection.
Oh,
it's an 83 antique.
Ah.
So it's old enough, doesn't need an inspection, but technically it would pass because the headlights were
turn signals.
All my headlights, turn signals, tail lights, all that's LED upgraded. Wipers work. I've got glass, obviously. I do have to replace the windshield after I've already replaced the back glass.
Do you know a guy, or do I need to?
I know a guy or two, but during the build process, I should have pulled the glass out, and I ended up shaving the firewall. And when I did, me and the guy helping me, he got the back window and I got the front window with weld
you put welding blankets on it.
Yeah, after the fact.
Okay.
So yeah, we did. So I got to put new glass in it, which is not a big deal.
You know how to do it.
I know how to do it. Yes, I've done several of them.
So playing with the C10 though, does it make you want to dive into the OBS more, or does it want you to get the C10 more usable and more fun to drive versus dumping all your time and effort into the Suburban?
Well, right now I think I am going to get the C10 dialed in. There is some things I want to do. Obviously, I'm going to clean up the bed's in pretty good shape on the inside. The outside's got a few typical, rust holes, but it flows with the patina. So it's not like slapping it in the wind or nothing too crazy. But yeah, I'm going to clean up the bed, put some bed liner in it, and then clean up the interior. I'm going to put a decent seats in it, some dash. I'm working on my dash pad as we speak. The guy before me or somebody had drilled holes in the bottom of the dash, so I need to weld them back up. Stuff like that. And then of course I'm going to clean up the engine bay. I got to think what his name was. A guy online did my firewall panels for my patch.
Now you've got a 350 in it?
Yeah 350.
So you didn't do the big LS swap that everybody does, so now you don't need a big crazy tune or whatever on it. You can just hop in it and drive it. As long as the carb's running good, you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking up who did my...
That's podcast protocol. Let's just grab a phone and start Googling stuff. People,
Sorry about that.
Let's do some dead air for a couple minutes.
I forget that this is not just on YouTube. But no, GMSS Fab did my firewall panels, and it bead rolled. So I ended up fixing the rust with Billy and then patching stuff, and we shaved the heater box, all that, air box. So I have no heat or air right at the moment.
So how long have you been without a bag vehicle? So
I
quit
did
driving Molly.
Well, I ended up bagging Molly, and then it just wasn't
when did
practical.
you quit driving it?
Well,
20 years ago?
15 or 18, yeah, at least 18. We'll say about 18.
So 18 years.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be back in something that's bagged that you can hop in and roll?
Oh, I've been missing. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
So as one of the old school guys that did the old school SMC valves, leaks everywhere, 300 wires to put together.
Yep.
What is your view on going from an old school switch box setup to the new airlift controller?
I absolutely love it.
Would you ever go back to an old setup?
The only way I'd go back to an old setup if it was Thoroughbeck's system. He's got the manual valves and stuff, and
so the technology is what you're saying in the last 18 years.
Oh yeah, is super.
I still have people that are like, well, I really want to do these valves and this and that. I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, well, they're cheaper. Okay, add them up, add your fittings up, add the wire, whatever you got to do, add every penny for penny. It's not much more at all to do an airlift setup versus the old school chasing leaks.
It didn't feel like it. I mean, in some ways it probably is a little cheaper, but you're nickel and diming every piece. You're having to build it. This was plug and play.
I mean, without the height sensors, which your application you don't really need. I had them on my Ram, but I planned to tow with it, so that made that easier. I hit the button, whether there's a trailer behind it or not, I was good.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's plug and play, and then I have upgraded to 2 bigger compressors, and I got a new wiring harness for that, so that's just plug and play, and then bolt them on my frame.
So when do you see you diving back into the Tahoe, driving a Tahoe into the Suburban?
I would like to have it in my shop sometime next winter. I think that gives me plenty of time to get, and in case anybody doesn't know, the C10 is Fat Betty.
Yeah.
So,
and we're driving in basic Betty today.
Right, and my Betty is a little jealous. But
and thinking of that, so me driving the Tahoe, I'm in it for 2-3 hours at a time before we stop and go to the gas station or bathroom or whatever. And I'm driving, I see a GM steering wheel, I see the red, the dark headliner. I don't think nothing about it. I get out of it, turn it off, go to step out. In my mind, I'm in my Sierra. So as soon as I step out, I immediately realize that this is lifted and it's got power steps as I fall out of the Tahoe about every other time I get out of it. So I may have a limp
I may get to drive the Tahoe if he twirls his ankle.
You need to confirm that with the wife. I don't know.
We're in New Mexico, so it's either here or...
What's she going to do, come stop you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, by the time she finds out, we're already there, so...
Right.
So, I guess to kind of go back to the trip, I know we're bouncing around here, but with this not being my normal setup with the office and the lights and all that, and I hope you guys like this. It's a way for me to do something different. I'm not constrained to my office with the lights and all that. It's something I can do, on the road. We have, 32 hours of drive time that we got plenty of time to do it.
Yeah.
So. If you guys like this, comment, let me know, shoot me a message, whatever. Let me know how you like this kind of setup. We're doing this to see, what's what. With plenty of time to do it. So, then I lost my train of thought. So I guess it's all the energy drinks. And my daughter's cussing me about having energy drinks. She's like, Dad, drink water. I'm like, water don't put that pep in my step. I have to. But I'm only like 2 a day. And you're how many a day?
We'll go with 2. 2 this morning. But they're sugar free.
Well, mine is too. So,
sugar free.
We talked about this whole trip and everything being, some of the sightseeing and all that stuff. What are your thoughts on, like, we stopped at U Drop In, Cadillac Ranch, some of the Route 66 stuff? Was it what you envisioned as growing up as a car guy?
Not at all. It was way different. I mean, I'm thinking, Model A's and T-buckets driving down the road, you know,
these towns are old.
American graffiti type stuff, you know. But when I get out here, you know, it's an old where were we at? The gas station.
Yeah,
you drop in.
Yeah,
and it's very cool being in an old building because it kind of brought me back, you know.
You can envision what it was like.
Yes,
in the 40s, 50s, and hell, even the 60s.
You
with
could see
all the cars.
You could see the guys come out in their little outfit, you know, and they weren't in just a grease monkey outfit. They walked out and, hey, let me get you that gas. And I'm just thinking all the people that have passed through there on a normal day, just getting gas going to work.
What was the craziest thing about this old antique Route 66 gas station that you wasn't expecting outside?
Oh my gosh. We're sitting there and it's all old. Everything's, you know, old school, whatever. Turn around and go around the corner and there is an electric vehicle charging, a Tesla charging station.
Yep.
With a
multiple plug-ins.
Yeah, multiple plug-ins, and actually 2 Teslas sitting there.
It makes no sense to me.
It's just, you know, I'm not an electric person like that. It's whatever, but it's ironic being at that gas station on a hot rod top atmosphere that behind it there are, you know, Tesla charging stations.
Now, I know we've all watched, you know, the movie Cars, which is based on the whole Route 66 thing, which kind of, when I first made this trip in 2014, you know, that movie, watching that as, you know, my daughter was a kid and stuff, watching that maybe like, well, that would be cool to see that. But you see the progression in that movie, like where they showed at the end, where they built I-40 and all the towns dried up, you know, they showed the lights going off and how I-40 wrecked Route 66. Yeah. So we did some driving around, you know, there's a couple small towns would go through and it's like all these old abandoned buildings and you can tell there were gas stations and diners and movie theaters and it's just stuff's boarded up and it's like, what in our era in what would that be, 70, 80 years is going to be boarded up? Are you going to go through Times Square in New York City and it's going to be boarded up because they've moved that somewhere else? Like the amount of, I guess, devastation that growth has created for towns like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, because it's a ghost town.
But like the gas station, we went to the first Phillips 66 in Texas. The gas station was smaller than the Tahoe.
Yeah.
Like it literally, you could have almost put it inside. Like if you just put the body, the doors and stuff, you probably could have slid it over the building because it's so small. But now, you know, you go an hour down the road and they're building a 60-something thousand square foot Buc-ee's.
Right. That'll hold, what, 100 cars?
Yeah.
And then it has all the merchandise and all the Buc-ee stuff inside?
It's cool as a car guy, as a gearhead, to have that experience to drive across country. Yes, it's a long drive. It's boring. There's hours of just looking through the windshield. But then you're looking at parts of the country that you've never seen. You know, me and him were talking earlier before we did this that, you know, we got people local that's like, oh, you know, we're in Western North Carolina, so people could be like, oh, I'll go to Myrtle Beach or I'll go to maybe Florida or Pigeon Forge. Like that's the extent of my travel. But to get, you know, west of the Mississippi and see stuff that's like these trees that we're looking at right now, these are not at home. They wouldn't grow at home.
No.
You know, the cotton fields, and as, you know, Mitchell Metcalf says, you know, you come out here and have a, you know, a cotton picking good time. So, but it's different to see all of this, to know that, okay, we're going to, you know, one of the, or I guess the largest automotive event in the world.
I'd say so.
And of course, I've been dealing with all day, you know, I posted some pictures of the Tahoe and stuff, and it's, you have these people that have no clue what SEMA is because they see what Instagram tells it, you know, what truck rice. It's like, oh, it's a bunch of these crazy big lifted stuff. It's like, you don't understand. It's a trade show. People showing off, you know, dash kits and intakes and, you know, suspension stuff and brakes. It's not all crazy big trucks or $1 million builds. It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of other stuff out there. So, you know, would you expect that, like we've talked, the stuff that's out here before you came, or would you expect it to be what Instagram told you it was?
Well, over the years, I actually read the articles, and you can see some of the guys who do this a lot, like yourself, they're complaining about it being it's turning into a show thing, to where it really is a trade show. So anything
You
you've
mean
done,
car show?
right,
because it's always been a trade show.
right, always a trade show, but it should be. It's what it's supposed to be. So like you've got wheels and tires from a vendor. You've got some suspension stuff. That is what this show is about. Trade show. It just so happens it's on a 24 Tahoe. You know, like, and I'm sure there's going to be C10s there that are just
Be a ton of
them, and they're going to have vendors with their wheels, their suspension, their frames.
There's gonna be high six-figure build
Exactly.
or C10s.
But it goes that way to where the C10 is in demand.
Yeah,
The OBS
it's huge
is
right
in
now.
demand. You know, new vehicles are in demand. I mean, it's just what it is. But that's what it is. In deep down, it's a trade show. So I know it's going to have some show qualities, but at the same time, I'm really coming. I want to see some glass stuff. I want to see some flush mounted glass for the old trucks, or some vendors, new tools, especially. You know, for my auto glass thing. I've been doing it for 3 years. In March, I'll be on my own. And
how long you been doing glass in general?
I want to say 02, 03.
So you're over 20 years of
20,
touching glass.
Yeah, 22 years or better. And
So you're a 20-year glass toucher.
yeah, I touched
20-year window licker.
Yep, pretty much. Don't lick here.
So, you know, I always hear, hey, man, can you get me tickets to go to SEMA? Or, hey, I'm just going to drive out and go. So here Vince owns an automotive company. That's his company. And you had to jump through hoops to get your pass to go. It's not like you're just going to get on Ticketmaster and I need 2 passes to SEMA.
Well, for somebody who actually works in the industry and they get a pay stub, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
For me as the owner, I have to show proof, a little bit more proof, I'm assuming. And yeah, it took me a few extra weeks, and luckily the day I left, I checked the mail and my SEMA pass was here.
Yeah.
So luckily I actually checked the mail before I left.
But you had to send your LLC, your tax number, an invoice, a business card.
Yep, my debit card, credit card with the logo, with the
business
name on it, with my name on it. I sent my ID. I mean, I sent a whole lot of stuff and called several people, and they were very helpful in the end. But it just took a little bit more time than just clicking a button and buying tickets.
So the people that are like, oh, well, next year, me and a buddy's just going to ride out. I'm going to take my truck out and show. It does not work like that.
No.
You can show it in the MGM Grand's parking lot.
Right.
It's nowhere near the convention center, but
everybody's going to be a SEMA.
Yep.
They're going to be somewhere else.
So for those that want to go, you can get in. Well, Friday is open to the public.
Okay.
But that's just one day open to the public. There's physically no way to see a quarter of the show in one day. There's no, unless you just literally jog or, mall walk up and down every aisle and not look at anything just to say you did it. But, we'll walk 10 plus miles a day, just walking the show is normal. So, you can't do it in a day. Like I always go through and I make a list of, sponsors and friends I've got that own companies that got booths, I need to see these people, need to shake hands, say, hey, how's your family kind of thing, in person. But like, so the people can get in show Friday, you can walk around the outside all you want, for free. But to get in, that's where you need to get with someone that owns a shop or like a glass company or, something in the automotive industry. I go under a media pass. I've been under a media pass since 2004. And every year they make me show credentials that I'm still shooting and writing in the automotive industry. Because if I wasn't and I'd switched over to shooting for, Farm Chickens magazine or something, they'd say I couldn't come in.
Yeah, he can't shoot for Thunder Buddies. I mean, he could, he might, but I'm just saying he can't use that to get in.
It pays, whatever. Green money's green
20
money.
bucks to 20 bucks.
I wasn't going to say it, but that's fine. So, like I said, you can go. So for you, though, we've talked a bunch about, over the multiple podcasts of going to SEMA, stuff that goes on at SEMA. Like I'm excited about this year. This is my 9th vehicle placement. It's the seventh vehicle I've been involved in. It's the 2nd one for my wife. Like it's fun to do that. It's a lot of stress, a lot of money. There was a last minute, tires didn't work, had to come up with another one. They're like, oh, it's all sponsored. No, we still had to come out of pocket. But like me and him talked, we're probably, I don't know, we're not even there yet, and we're probably $500-$600 in fuel, and we still have to get there and get back, and 2 hotels on the way out, 2 hotels on the way back. You know, you're in Vegas for that long, so it's not a cheap trip. You know, I always save up and say, well, this is what I'm going to do, and of course my wife's like, we're going to go to this amusement park or whatever. Like, no, I'm good. I'm driving for 65 hours in November, you know, to Vegas and back. I don't really want to go anywhere else. So, well, is there anything else that you want to see on the way, rest of the trip to Vegas?
I wish I saw some other people driving with us, you know, kind of other trucks and stuff, but we haven't run into nobody yet.
Well, it's you know, right now it's 4 o'clock on Thursday. This is about the time a lot of people leave, because unlike me, people will hop in and drive straight through. Like we did. It wasn't full driving, but like from the time we got in the truck that morning at 4:45 a.m. and drove to the time we got out at the hotel, that's gas stops, bathrooms, you know, eating. We had about 18 hours of travel time.
It was a solid day. Solid drive.
Other people would switch drivers and go. My body don't function after like 10:30 max. I'm old and used to my sleep schedule.
Yeah, self-love. You gotta make sure we get a little bit of sleep, and then at the same time we can enjoy the day. We're not hurting. We're not super tired. You know, we're not cracked up with our back or whatever in the seat, which are very comfortable and heated. In case anybody's wondering, Fat Betty does not have heated seats.
But you don't have coochie coolers in here, though.
Nope, none of those either.
So, like I said, we'll drop this episode on Tuesday that SEMA starts. So when you guys check it out, make sure you share it. You know, we're going to go over and give Vince a follow. So where are you out online? You usually just share a bunch of Halloween shit all year, don't you?
Just about.
I mean,
Christmas
you're like,
is coming up, boys.
I thought you're like Halloween only.
No, I love Halloween, and then you know I love Christmas holidays. I love the decorations and stuff like that. And unfortunately, today is Halloween, so we're driving down the road. But I do have Halloween shirt on. You can't see it, but I do that, and hopefully there'll be something to do this weekend. But yeah, I do a lot of that. But right now I'm on Facebook, Vince Robinson. There is an Awesome Auto Glass company, or Awesome Auto Glass CO Facebook, and the same thing for Instagram. TikTok, I'm on there. You can just about find me anywhere. My phone number is plastered all over the place. Anybody in Western North Carolina needs some glass, look me up. I got you covered.
Well, you say you're all over the social media stuff, and I always ask, are you on OnlyFans?
No.
Feet Finder? Why are you avoiding that question?
What are we talking about, Feet Finder? You know, guys got to eat, you know. But nah.
I think Daryl posted he was looking at starting the Feet Finders or something. So you'll have to ask Daryl. I swear he said he was starting the Feet Finders. I think he was going to take the pictures and not tell Nikki that he was doing a feet find. I don't know how that works. You have to ask Daryl on that. So,
well, our website we're working on that, so we'll have a website soon. But you can email me, stuff like that. awesomeautoglassco@gmail.
How did you come up with Awesome Auto Glass?
Well, that would be your fault too. So let me explain this.
Do I get royalties off this?
Absolutely.
Do I get like
not.
10% of the company?
Nope.
Oh, damn.
10%? I'm trying to get 20.
To
get 10% of the company.
I was going to say 20.
No.
Finder's fee.
I'm a little conceited sometimes. I mean, and for years, I've been saying I'm awesome and stuff like that, joking around. And the reason it come about actually at your show. So when your daughter at the show at the Ag Center.
Scraping the Smokies for you youngins.
Right. So we were helping you do that.
Yeah.
Well, my son went to school with. My son and my daughter went to school with your daughter.
Yeah.
Mine are a little older. So, but we all knew each other through that and through the youth league cheerleaders, and the girls were there cheerleading that day. And for some reason, I had a sticker on and it said, "Hey, I'm awesome." So the girls in there, knew who I was.
Yeah.
My son's dad and Serena knew who I was. And it was like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Awesome." Well, it just kind of stuck, and I just kept eating it up. Like, okay, I'm awesome. So it just stuck a little bit like that. So over the years, I'd post something, can't turn off awesome, something like that. So I'm sitting there strolling one night, and I got this idea in my head to do the glass again, because I've been out of glass for a few years.
But still in the automotive, you're in the body shop.
I was in the body shop, running a couple of body shops, or not really running, production manager in one, and an estimator, actually for West Frisbee.
But you were still in the automotive space.
Still doing glass for those companies. For one company, I started at a body shop. That was part of the deal. I do all his glass. And then when I got working with Wes, and Wes became the manager, he knew of my background, and his glass company wasn't working out, so I got in there with him. And so I'm sitting there, and I had to have a tax ID number through his shop because it was legit.
Yeah.
So I'm just scrolling through, and I'm like, well, there's not no awesome stuff like that around here. There's other awesome glass companies, I'm sure, but the one around here was pretty, no. So I just turned around, was looking around, and found it, and I just punched in the word awesome auto glass, doodling on the computer, and there it was. I put a square around it, and it's awesome auto glass CO, and I was like, what?
So you did your own logo?
Yeah, I did my own logo, so it worked. It's very plain, it's white and black. It's black letter with a white background, and I had John Beebe and Drop 'em Wear do my work shirts, and he made a nice post about it. And I wasn't thinking about it. I was just simple and to the point.
Yeah.
So on my shirts, it's got the logo. Then underneath, it's got my phone number. And he made a post when he got done making my shirts for me, and he said, "This is one of those logos you can see across the football field if it's the right,
Easy to read.
It's easy to read. It's not gaudy. It's not gommed up with a lot of movement. It's to the point. Awesome auto glass." And it's crazy because people will see me in my truck or trucks, and they'll see the van, or they'll see one of my work trucks, and they'll take a picture of it and send it to me. And they're 4 cars away from me, and you can still read it like you're sitting up against it. So it kind of worked out in the end, and I've had a lot of compliments about how simple it is, but yet so effective. So it works.
So what the moral of the story is you named the company because you were awesome to teenage girls.
I knew that was coming. I knew when I said that earlier. I was hoping we were going to skip it.
There's no Chris Hansen involved in this.
There's no.
My ex-wife coached the cheerleaders.
Yes.
Like it was like all one big family. Everybody hung out and cut up.
Because I've known Brandon way longer than our kids were alive.
Yeah.
But then it just so happened he lived in the same area I lived in, and his first wife was the cheer coach and commissioner for the youth.
Yeah. So there was no hi, I'm Chris Hansen.
Right. No. Nothing like that. But it just kind of stuck, and then of course I've got logos. I don't have one on. Today and yesterday are probably the first days I haven't worn something.
Mine might actually be on the shirt you have on.
I think it is. It's right there. So you can't see it, but it's on my...
YouTube people can.
It's on my show. It's on the Showdown in the Smokies hoodie I got on.
I can't believe you just butchered that show.
Did I? I did. Oh my God, I did. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. I know Shane listens to this. Call Vince, cuss him out. I don't think Chris listens to it, but Mitchell may. But I know Shane listens to this. Cuss Vince out because he said Showdown in the Smokies.
I did. I got him mixed up with his show. Showdown in the Valley, which is coming up the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So, and that leads into that. So this will drop the 5th. Well, because of, if anybody's watched any kind of news, any kind of social media, our area in Western North Carolina got absolutely devastated because of Hurricane Helene. Like, luckily, Vince's house didn't get damaged. My house didn't get damaged. But the area, there's friends that lost their houses. There's people that lost businesses we're friends with. There's whole sides of mountains gone. There's whole families that are just gone. I mean, people missing, vehicles missing, houses a mile down the road that just uprooted and went away. So the hurricane hit that Friday, the 27th of September. So not that weekend, but the next weekend was supposed to be Showdown in the Valley, or as Vince calls it, Showdown in the Smokies. But that
I'm sorry.
So they couldn't do the show. So I'm sure you guys seen on the news and online and all that. We had no power, we had no water, we had no internet, we had no cell phone service. Like, we were basically shut out from the world for most part. Like, you could go across town and up the road like we did, and you could get a little bit of cell phone service, but roads were washed out, bridges were washed out. I-40 through the gorge between Tennessee and North Carolina collapsed. 26 in Irwin, Tennessee, which is between North Carolina and Tennessee on the Johnson City side, that had washed away. So it would have majorly affected the show. Well, a couple of the show promoters and stuff we're diving into making things right for, the people locally helping. Like Mitchell was working 100 hours a week trying to get things right, and they decided it was in the best interest, not just for them, but for everyone involved, to postpone the show. Well, the show is postponed to, the 21st through 23rd of November. So they postponed the show, rolled your pre-registrations over, but now instead of it just being a regular show, it is now a charity show.
Right, it's the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of November.
Okay, so I was off a day.
Yeah, the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, which is actually the weekend after I get back from the West Coast. So they moved it, but the cool thing they're doing is now it's 100% charity show. All the proceeds are going to victims of Hurricane Helene in Western North Carolina, where the show's held. So they've got wheels they're raffling off from JTX, American Force, TIS. They've got some tires. They've got some cleaning stuff from Adams. They got a lot of stuff that they're auctioning off, that every bit of that money is going towards the local people. I mean, there's people that's lost everything that are still being denied by FEMA for their $750. Like literally no house, no car, no flood insurance. Like they're probably not going to have a place to live for months.
Yeah.
Like there's people sleeping in tents where their house used to be.
Yeah, all over the place.
So they're rolling everything for this show over to help that. So that's what, three weeks or so after this podcast.
Yeah.
Make sure you come to it. Even if you just come spectator, chip in on the raffle stuff, donate. They're not really doing the donation of supplies and stuff. They're taking money and turning that back into local people that need houses rebuilt, and people that lost their crib for their kid, or their stroller, or their auction machine don't work anymore because it washed down the river. So like I said, scraping the Smokies, or had to mess with the event. Showdown in the Valley, not Showdown in the Smokies.
Yeah,
it's Showdown in the Valley. Make sure you check that out. They're online as well. So we'll both be back by then. Vince will be back well before me.
Yeah. Where are you going next week?
I'll be in Dino's. So the week after SEMA, staying in Vegas and then going to Dino's. So I'll have to send you some photos and stuff of Dino's.
Well, I went last year and it was amazing.
I was supposed to go. Things changed last minute. Had some people that were above me at the time that decided to go a different route, which really messed up what would need to be done. But that's a different story for not a podcast. So I'll be at Dino's, and then immediately, once we drive back to North Carolina, turn right back around and be at that show.
Yep.
I hope they have a good turnout. It may be chilly, but if it is chilly, throw a jacket on. I'll be there. Vince will be there. You'll have a booth too.
I'll have a sponsor booth. Fat Betty will be in the booth. Come by and check us out.
Yep. If you need a windshield, you're going to be at the show, or a back window or whatever,
hit me up.
Pre-book it, as long as it's not raining or whatever. You can probably do it under your tent.
I could possibly do it under tent if it's lowered.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think about this kind of setup. Those that's on YouTube, the sun is blaring in Vince's face, showing the grays. So this might be something I can do, like I said, go on to shows with friends. We might set up at a show. Let me know. Would you like to see me set up at a show and sit down and talk to people at a show? The digital space is taking up a lot of the magazine space, I guess you'd say. The paper magazines have now become digital. You've got your YouTube stuff, you've got your podcast, so we can sit down and interview people about their vehicle, and you can listen to it on a podcast, watch it on YouTube, or listen to it and then go, I really like that, let me see what they were talking about, and go back to YouTube and watch it again. Nothing says you can't watch it twice. Share these episodes, share the podcast page with your friends. Check out Vince's stuff. We'll keep you posted at a later date what his views are on Thunder from Down Under or the Bunny Ranch or something. Wherever he winds up. Vegas is Vegas. Like I said, what happens in Vegas stays on Facebook.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You have to take my camera away from me.
They might not allow it.
Appreciate
you guys listening. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right.